Rick Roberts, right now on News Talk 820 WBAP.
WBAP.com.
Hey, and good afternoon. You know, I was having a discussion, how we even got into this, with Bill, producer Bill. And he says, yes, this affects him, and it affects him a lot. Millions of Americans are going to experience a groggy, jet-lagged feeling next week, and it can be downright dangerous. When we spring forward this weekend, we're going to see a spike, hopefully not a dangerous one, in drowsy driving, should we worry about Monday morning. Dr. Fahmi Farah is with me. She was with me not too long ago. She's a medical expert, board-certified invasive cardiologist. Yeah, that's right. We were talking to her after I had my open heart thing. Doctor, thank you for being with me. I appreciate it.
Hi, thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. But I'm curious because never in my entire life have I ever been affected one way or the other by the time change. The only thing that kind of aggravates me, I've got to change the clock on the microwave and the stove, and usually in the car, everything else changes itself. But I guess for some people, this is kind of a big deal, right? Physically.
It is, yes. It certainly can be that even though it's just 1 hour, the disruption for the first week or two is pretty big.
Okay, explain that. When you say it's the adjustment, what type of adjustment?
We're talking about sleep disturbance and how it can have an overall impact on your health, particularly your cardiovascular health. As you know, American Heart Association has added sleep as one of the risk factors for heart disease. And so, there's so many people who already have pre-existing sleep disorder like insomnia. And for those, any amount of disturbance can totally throw them off. And it increases stress, sleep deprivation, which in return causes increased risk of heart attack, stroke, and things like that. So, yes, the impact could be pretty big.
Yeah, and I think we were discussing this before. Maybe the reason that I haven't noticed anything, I've got such sporadic sleep habits anyway with insomnia and all the rest. I mean, I'm up and down all night. Sometimes I'll get to, 4 to 5 hours and I feel great. Sometimes I'll sleep 6-9 hours and feel horrible. But I know having that quadruple bypass, my thanks to Dr. Weiss and Dr. Singh for me still being on this side of the grass. They talked about this, Dr. Farah, and so I made a concerted effort to try and sleep more. And it wasn't hard to convince my dog. He's a, 100-pound paperweight. So, he goes right to bed, and I try to get as much sleep as I can. But according to my producer, he was saying that this would mess him up for 2 and 3 days at a time.
It can, yes. That 1 hour change can throw you off your schedule. You're just feeling sleep deprived. You can't really focus at work. Your schedule has to be changed. Your entire routine has to be changed. And so that can be stressful.
What about this? There was a study, I think it was 2020, 2021, something like that, National Institute of Health. They found that, I think if this is right, 150,000 Americans experienced some kind of physical health problem caused by the time change. Those things included strokes, heart attacks, accidents, changes in mood. Is that true?
Yes, it is. And that's a very good study, actually, yes. And it did come out in 2020. And that's a very large number of people that they've looked at. And yes, it is. Sleep disturbance can affect all aspects of your life, starting from your work schedule to your social schedule to your health. And, as I mentioned, sleep is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease, which includes a heart attack and stroke.
And, something else I'll tell people, I've had a couple heart attacks, but I'll tell you this, I never had my left arm tingle, never had any chest pains, never had any pain whatsoever, except I just couldn't get a full breath. And I remember when I went to the ER and they said, well, what's wrong? And I said, well, I just can't breathe. And so about 15 minutes later, they said, well, that's because you're having a massive heart attack. So if you're waiting to call 911 until you get the chest pains or the left arm being numb or whatever the story is, don't wait. I mean, it's not worth waiting and putting it off. And if in fact you're bothered by daylight savings time, then, Dr. Fahmi Farah, we gave him the bad news. What's the good news? How do you prepare for this?
Yeah, what I recommend is a gradual introduction of this change rather than an abrupt change to your circadian rhythm. If you can start maybe a week or two earlier, go to bed like 10 or 15 minutes early, and then by the time change happens, your circadian rhythm is not going to be thrown off completely, so that you are not going to face or feel that hit and time change as much.
And we've got to change. What is it? Is it Sunday that we change? Yeah, I think it is. So,
it is Sunday, yes.
Yeah, is there anything this is Friday, so you got, 24 hours, I guess. Anything people can do? I mean, aside from just consciously saying, okay, I'm going to go to bed earlier, and that never works for me because I can't turn my brain off. What can people do? Maybe watch what they eat or what?
Yes, absolutely. Maintain your routine of healthy diet, exercise. Don't give up on that. And maintain some good sleep hygiene. For example, when you go to bed, don't go with your phone. Turn your screen off completely. So minimize your screen time right before bed. Sleep before you go to bed. Do some meditation just to de-stress yourself. And don't do any kind of work-related stuff from your bedroom. Keep that for rest and sleep.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. I don't... I don't ever turn my phone off because, something could come up in the news and they need to get a hold of me. But, just do the common sense things to do to get a restful night's sleep. That makes perfect sense. Dr. Fahmi Farah, we appreciate it very much.